CIN right here on Fox Sports Ohio. Hi, and a pleasant good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Reds baseball. Jim Kelch along with the Cowboy Jeff Brantley. The Reds won here the first game of this series, lost last night, so Cowboy desperate for a win here today. They'll turn to Matt Latos, who's on the mound, and while Matt has struggled his last couple of times on the road, the big guy doesn't struggle here at home, does he?
No, he doesn't, Jim, and I guess if anybody on this staff you needed in a must-win game, it would be Matt Latos, and the Reds have a must-win situation here today. Very comfortable at home. You see the numbers there, 9-1 with a 2.89. It's a lot of strike throwing for Matt Latos. Down in the zone, the heavy-duty breaking ball. He's excited when he gets in his own home ballpark.
Well, going against Latos and the Reds today will be the former Boston pitcher, big-name guy about 6 years or so ago, Daisuke Matsuzaka.
Matsuzaka, he's going to be looking for the strikeout. He will not give in at any point in time. And speaking of giving in, he'll be having to give in to Billy Hamilton today. It could be quite exciting.
Indeed, Billy Hamilton is back in the lineup playing center field for the Reds, and he will be in that top spot facing Matsuzaka to get the Reds' first inning going here this afternoon. Ohio is brought to you by the Ford F-Series trucks, the best-selling truck in America 36 straight years. By Cincinnati USA Regional Tourism Network. Book your stay at CincinnatiUSA.com. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good? It's Skyline time. Outside Great American Ballpark as the Reds and the Mets meet for the final time in this 2013 season. They have a pretty good crowd on hand for this Wednesday afternoon affair as the Reds, who stumbled their toe a bit last night with the loss here to the Mets, start the day 3 games behind the Cardinals, a game behind the Pirates, and all these teams are playing this afternoon. The Cardinals at home against the Nationals begin at 1:45 Eastern, and the Pirates in Chicago at Wrigley prior to their arrival here in Cincinnati play at 2:20 today. And again, the Reds still trying to win the National League Central, but that number now in terms of elimination is down to 2. They still have a chance, of course, if they can win today and then take 2 out of 3 this weekend, Cowboy, against the Pirates, a chance to host that wild card game.
Well, every game is important, whether it's winning the division or getting home field advantage in that wild card game. That's why you have to take every game just like it's your last, and that's the way the Reds will have to take this afternoon's game.
Big round of applause as the Reds, led by Matt Latos, take the field here at GABP, as always during day games, wearing those red tops with the white pants. Billy Hamilton jogging out to center field, making his 3rd start. He's had a couple of 3-hit games since he's been in the lineup for the Reds upon his call up in early September from AAA Louisville. And the manager, of course, of this New York Mets team, the opponent today, Terry Collins, in his 3rd year. He's managed also in Houston. He's managed the Angels. He's managed in Japan some years ago, and his contract is up at the end of this year, although rumor has it that he will be returning for a 4th year at the helm of the Metropolitans. Here's the lineup that he puts out there today. Eric Young, Justin Turner, Daniel Murphy, Lucas Duda, Juan Lagares, and Mike Baxter, Juan Centeno, Wilfredo Tovar, and Daisuke Matsuzaka against the right-hander of the Reds, Matt Latos, making start number 32.
Well, Matt started against this ball club earlier this year, back on May 22nd. Threw the ball very well for the first 6 innings of the ball game, ran into trouble in the 7th. But a lot of the names that were in the lineup on May 22nd are not in the lineup here today, especially the number 3 hole spot. Today it's Daniel Murphy, who hit 2nd last night and the night before, but the big exception is David Wright. He's not playing today. And Matt Latos, this will be awfully important for this club coming out early.
And another name that was in their lineup in that game back on the 22nd when Latos pitched against him was the veteran Rick Ankiel, who did some damage against him in that game.
Rick Ankiel, Ruben Tejada, both not in the ball game today. And Mesoraco is having a little trouble in the warm-up pitches. It looked like he took a ball off the dirt and hit him in the side of the neck. And Paul Dessart had to come out quickly as Mesoraco looked like he really got dinged up on that pitch. Now this is warm-ups, folks.
Boy, it looked like it got right up under the mask there. And that breaking ball from Latos in warm-ups. Heck of a deal when you get hurt before the game even starts, isn't it?
There's never any lack of adrenaline or preparedness for Devin Mesoraco, but I can assure you he is wired right now.
Well, he appears to be all right. Ball has been thrown down to second base and now back in the hands of the big 6'6" right-hander Matt Latos, and we are ready to get this game started. This the 159th game of this 2013 season. Reds at 90 and 68 have secured a postseason berth, trying to improve their lot as Eric Young leads it off. First pitch in there for a called strike. Game time temperature here at Great American Ballpark, 73 degrees. Young, a switch hitter. He'll be followed by Justin Turner and Daniel Murphy. This appears to be a good start as Phillips will make the play. Throw on to first, and Young is retired. Take a look at the Reds defensively behind Matt Latos, brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Chu gets the start in left field, only his 3rd of the year. Billy Hamilton is in center today with Bruce and right. It's Frazier is Turris at short this afternoon. Phillips and Votto on the right side with Latos throwing as always to Devin Mesoraco. Billy Hamilton out in center field. He gets the start today. In the starts that he has made, he's done pretty darn well.
Don't think that Billy Hamilton is just speed in stealing bases or at the plate. He can play a phenomenal center field. There are many scouts that will tell you he's the best center fielder in the Red system.
You wonder about his arm being a small, thin fellow, but remember, this guy came up as a shortstop. So in order to play shortstop, you have to have a pretty good arm. Justin Turner playing third base today in place of David Wright. Wright has not, since he's been returning, played the day games after the night games. He's just really off the DL a week or so ago from a long stint with a hamstring issue this year. So Turner playing third base today, hitting .273 with a couple of home runs.
Turner's a good fastball hitter. Likes the pitch close to him, middle in. He can hit the ball out of the ballpark. There's not many home runs in this lineup. As a matter of fact, Jay Bruce, with his 30 home runs, is about as many as the whole lineup for the Mets have in their lineup today.
Yeah, they're not a home run hitting crew at all. And that's strike 3 as Turner goes down. And a good start for Latos, a ground ball and now a strikeout.
Talked about good fastball hitter. He didn't catch up with this one. You could see the backside heading towards third base, and Latos was right on the money. And that is a good sign, Jim. When you get Matt coming out pumping strikes early in the ball game, that's a good sign anytime. Normally he has trouble in the first inning, if he's going to have trouble at all.
You look back at his season at home, and we talked about it in the open as he faces Daniel Murphy here. 9-1 on the year with 13 home starts and a 2.89 ERA. It's about 3/4 of a run better at home than it's been on the road this year.
I'll tell you what, he is pumping it right now. That last pitch was 94 miles an hour.
Here's the best home records by pitchers in the National League this year, and see Latos right up there near the top. Jose Fernandez, I think, going to be the National League Rookie of the Year this year. He's 9-0 for those Miami Marlins.
Been awfully good.
Murphy at a ball and 2 strikes. Played second base last night. Played second base on Monday. He's had a pretty good series. He comes into this game 3 of 8 with a home run. Boy, that big blast he hit last night was a telling blow against Mike Leake.
Daniel Murphy in the start on May 22nd that we mentioned earlier. The previous start for Latos against the Mets had a couple of doubles in the ball game. He gave Matt a little bit of trouble. Matt would like to end that right here and right now.
Lined into center for a 2-out single, so Murphy keeps his hitting streak going. He's now had a 7-gamer and he's on with 2 out. Another batter will be Lucas Duda. Duda, another one who caught one on Monday night in the 6th inning out to right field. That tied the game at 2. Reds eventually, of course, went on to win that game in 10, 3-2 on the big hit by Chu. So here's Duda with a runner aboard and 2 out. That is Greg Gibson calling the balls and strikes this afternoon.
This is as aggressive as I've seen Matt come out in a long time. Boy, he is really throwing the ball hard and down and in the zone.
On the move is Murphy, and a foul ball. Well, the last 2 starts for Latos, that start, of course, Friday night against Pittsburgh. He went 6, allowed 4 runs. 2 starts ago in Milwaukee, went 6 2/3, allowed 5 runs. So here he comes back in a much more familiar and comfortable setting for him here, GABP.
And I think some of those numbers, obviously they don't look great on paper, because for Matt Latos, normally you're used to having him give up 1 run, no runs, sometimes 2 or 3, but for the most part he's been quality start extraordinaire.
He has 20 quality starts in 31 starts this year. Tops on this team.
Yeah, this big fella has had a phenomenal season. And I don't care how you cut it up, where the games are, how you're playing. He's gotten it done. Matt Latos is the kind of pitcher around baseball circles, as you see this hard slider down and in. Looked like Duda got just a little piece of it, tipped it out of the glove of Matsuzaka, but they use the word horse, and they use that word talking about a pitcher like Latos, very similar to Clayton Kershaw or the guy you mentioned in Jose Fernandez, Justin Verlander, because you can get on that guy and ride him and he will carry you, and that's what you want out of your top pitcher.
Going again, and now this time Matsuzaka has trouble getting the ball out of his glove, and Murphy will get the steal, his 21st of the year.
Looked like a curveball that came out just a bit early for Latos, and Matsuzaka bobbled it a bit. Not really a good pitch to throw on. You're ahead in the count here. You need to bury Duda.
When Matsuzaka was unable to get that ball out of his glove and make the throw, but that throw he made last night in the 8th inning to nail Lagares, a thing of beauty, wasn't it?
Oh, quick feet, got his body turned properly, got rid of the ball in a hurry, and that's a big key for the catcher. You want to load and release in quick fashion.
Well, Latos trying to get the best of Lucas Duda here with a runner at second and 2 out. And now a full count. Duda has not been a clutch hitter for this team this year, hitting 155 with runners in scoring position. Mets team that will finish obviously under 500. They're 13 under going into today. This will mark their 5th consecutive sub 500 season, and their 7th in a row since making the postseason back in 2006.
And with Lagares on deck, you don't want to give Duda a cookie here. You make a pitch.
He gets it in the air toward left center. Chu and Hamilton. Chu makes the call and the catch. Duda gone and the side retired. Billy Hamilton will lead things off for the Reds in the bottom of the 1st. Very nice Wednesday afternoon here at Great American Ballpark. This final day game during the week of this 2013 season. Of course, this weekend there'll be a couple of day games, Saturday and Sunday. Night game on Friday after the off day tomorrow. Just 4 games remain in the regular season. The Reds, of course, have put a back-to-back 90-win season together for the first time since the late 70s. Here's the lineup that Dusty Baker will put out there today against Matsuzaka. It'll be Hamilton in the leadoff spot, then Chu, then Votto. Phillips back to the spot he's been in most of the year, the cleanup role. Bruce and Frazier. And then the bottom three, Mesoraco, is Turris and Latos against his 33-year-old Daisuke Matsuzaka.
Matsuzaka, he will not give in. He will move the ball around. He'll give you a variety of pitches and speeds. But if you're looking for 3-2 fastballs, more times than not, he's going to give you something else.
Now, if Hamilton gets on against him, he'll have a tough go trying to hold him on, won't he?
Doesn't hold runners very well at all.
Switch hitting Billy Hamilton to lead things off. The pause at the top of the rotation, and Matsuzaka delivers low for ball one. Reds first gets going. Hamilton, then Chu, then Votto. In at third is Turner. And a ball and a strike to Billy Hamilton. 6 for 14 here at the big league level. That's a .429 average. Throw in a couple of walks, and he's been on base 50% of the time that he has come to the plate since coming up here to the Reds. Of course, the big number for Hamilton this year since coming up here has been 13 of 13 in stolen bases.
They've pitched out, they've thrown over, they've held the ball for seemingly a calendar year, and just can't seem to find a weapon to stop him.
He will swing and miss on that and strike out, and that's the way the Reds first gets going.
Well, to stop a base stealer, this is how you do it. Split fingered fastball, and it just tails right away from Billy Hamilton. That's Matsuzaka's signature pitch. Split fingered fastball.
Matsuzaka, of course, signed late in spring training with the Cleveland Indians. Came to the spring training complex out in Goodyear with the Tribe and had hoped to make that team, but about the middle of spring training had an injury which really sidelined him, right?
Had a trap injury, and it just was something that had crept up in 2012. He made quite a few starts in AAA. But Matsuzaka right now, he's a man that's pitching for a contract for 2014, whether it be with the Mets or any other club. So he is going to do everything he can to put together a heck of a ball game.
We mentioned he's 33 years old, from Japan. Came over here, what, in 2007 after posting with the Japanese team that he had been with over there, meaning that he was up for bid to pitch over here in the United States, and Boston bid $51 million just for the right to negotiate with him. And eventually they did sign into a 6-year $52 million deal. So in order to get Matsuzaka over here to the States, it took the Red Sox in effect over $100 million to do so. And he paid off for them his first 2 years as he misses here to Chu, and now it's a full count. 15-12 that first year in 07 as part of their World Series championship team. 18-3 the following year, but really since 08 he's been hit and miss, hasn't he, due to injury?
Yes, he has. Tommy John surgery in 2011.
He gets Chu swinging and missing, and it looked like the same pitch, Cowboy.
Good low heater. Down and away from Chu. It looked like Chu was expecting something off speed, and he got anything but.
Chu and his Turris are the only Reds players that have faced Matsuzaka before. In fact, Chu had a couple home runs against him. He strikes out here, so 2 men out, nobody on for Joey Votto. First pitch swinging. Votto corks it out to center, but it will be caught out there by Lagares. And a 1-2-3 first turned in by the veteran Matsuzaka. babies up to 3 years old. For only $14, members receive an exclusive Reds cap and bib, plus vouchers for members only experiences, including an on-field pregame parade, mascot and player photo sessions, free Reds tickets, and much more. To purchase your membership kit, simply visit Great American Ballpark, select Kroger locations, or log on to reds.com/rookies. No score through an inning. We head to the top of the second. Juan Lagares, center fielder of this club, to lead things off. Lagares in this series 1 out of 8 on the year, 251. He basically took over for Colin Cowgill, who was their opening day starter when he was traded in June to the Angels, and they moved Lagares into the center field spot.
Been a lot of changes in the Big Apple here in 2013, whether it be the New York Yankees or the New York Mets. Both teams searching for that winning formula. The Yankees thought they had gotten to a place where they were going to make it and just could not pull it out. Of course, with CC Sabathia on the disabled list for the remainder of this season with the strained hamstring, that hamstrings the team.
Lagares to center. Hamilton will drift back, and on the edge of the track makes the catch. So a good start for Matt Latos here in the top of the second.
Ball's carrying a little bit here today with the wind blowing quite briskly out in center field. Looks like it's blowing from left field to right field. That normally doesn't happen. It normally blows the other way off the river.
Here's Mike Baxter, the right fielder. Sub 200 at the start of this game at 193, and on a check swing he will be the second out of the inning, a 1-3 putout. Latos, of course, going for career best today, Cowboy, if he can get it, win number 15.
I think that's part of what has entered into the mind of Matt Latos the last couple of times out. You start thinking about breaking into newfound territory. You feel like a young pitcher, and believe me, even with Matt Latos, the many years he's had in the big leagues, folks, he's only 25 years of age.
Well, he won number 14 in that home game here against the Cardinals when he went the distance in a magnificent effort. And this is his 4th try since then to get the career best number 15. He had to start here against the Dodgers, in which he threw well, didn't get the decision in a win, the loss at Milwaukee, and then the start in that game at Pittsburgh, in which the Reds ultimately came back to win, but he did not get the decision in that one either.
And I think as a young player, it's not the experience, it's just the age. You feel like you have to do something different to get to a place that you've never been before, when in essence we see Matt Latos every day. His normal pitching is just fine.
This is Juan Centeno, pardon me. Juan Centeno, the catcher. He's behind the plate today, with d'Arnaud having caught the first 2 games. Centeno behind the plate here today. Ooh, late cut, and that one bounces around into the stands and down near the field.
Talking about late. That was a full swing, and it was like it almost hit Wilfredo Tovar in the on-deck circle.
He hit that thing right out of the glove of Matsuzaka, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
At 3-2, it sounded like a broken bat. Ground ball to first, and Votto will give it on the Latos, and a 1-2-3 second turned in by the big man here in the second. this afternoon's game. Jerry Peters from Florence, Kentucky will win this beautiful new Tundra on display here at Great American Ballpark. Thanks to all of you who have registered all year at the Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer to be a part of this Toyota promotion here in 2013. No score. We head to the bottom of the second. Reds bat against its Mets team, and here's a look at the Mets defensively behind Matsuzaka, brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Young, Lagares, and Baxter in the outfield. Turner, Tovar, Murphy, and Duda across the infield. Matsuzaka throws to Centeno. They actually had their starting catcher this year, John Buck, we saw over the weekend as a member of the Pirates, part of that Marlon Byrd deal. Those two went from this Mets team over to the Pirates, giving D'Arnaud and giving Centeno a chance to play here down the stretch.
Yeah, Buck came over with Chase D'Arnaud in the R.A. Dickey deal back before the season ever started.
From Toronto.
Yeah, from Toronto.
Matsuzaka gets Phillips here to start the bottom of the second. From a batter standpoint, is it a little unnerving when he pauses at the top of that rotation?
It is. But I think that after you have an at bat, or really for a professional batter, after you see one pitch, you get used to the timing. What would ultimately make it really difficult is if Matsuzaka changed that up. If he paused one time and then another time came quickly to the plate. Now that would really mess with the mind of the hitter.
Here he is at the top of that rotation, and a pause, and now a 2-2 on the foul ball by Phillips.
Watch as the glove goes over the head. 1001, 1002, 1003, and here he comes. And a lot of that is Matsuzaka getting the grip on the baseball, but also trying to make sure that everything is loaded and ready to go to the plate.
We mentioned he's 33 years old. He pitched for, what, 8 years over in Japan for the Cebu Lions and was very good over there. He won a Rookie of the Year award over there. He led the league 3 times in wins, a couple of times in strikeouts, a couple of times in ERA. Was highly sought after when the Red Sox ultimately were able to gain his employment following the 2006 season. The Yankees were one of the teams that were bidding for him.
Top pitcher in the Japanese Professional League at the time. Of course, then a man came along by the name of Yu Darvish.
Indeed. Now with the Texas Rangers, of course. So this guy, most valuable player of the first 2 World Baseball Classics back in 06 and 09 for Japan.
He's never lost a game in the World Baseball Classic.
Misses here, and the count goes full to Phillips. Yeah, what was he, 3-0 in 06 and again 3-0 in 09.
He's 6-0 overall. Some tremendous arms and players, for that matter, in that Japanese Professional League.
Brandon is called out on strikes here by Greg Gibson, the home plate umpire. So 3 of the first 4 batters faced by Matsuzaka have gone down on strikes.
Well, I said earlier that Matsuzaka would not give in. Don't expect the 3-2 fastball. Well, what Matsuzaka has done is totally flipped that. And the Reds thinking very similar to what I was thinking. All right. Breaking ball, change up, split finger at 3-2. What he's doing is pitching backwards. Breaking balls early, then the fastballs late. But either way, he's throwing strikes, and right now he's keeping the Reds off balance.
Well, he's 2-3 this year with the Mets with a 5.52 ERA. Joined them late in August and got off to a terrible start at 3 games that they probably wondered why they had signed him. But since that time, at Cleveland, against Miami, and at Philly, 3 pretty good starts.
Well, he's gotten his rhythm, if you will, on the mound, and he's able to locate pitches on both sides of the plate. He's not throwing nearly as hard as he did when he first signed with the Red Sox. But you've got to remember, this guy's been pitching for a long time. He's seen a lot of batters in his time. And he's able to change speeds, read swings, and make adjustments on the fly. You look at the last 3 starts for Matsuzaka, 2-0 with a 1.93 ERA. Folks, that's good against anybody.
Sure. Dealing with Bruce here with 1 out and a 1-ball, 2-strike count. Hammered by Jay into right center, and a 1-out single. Good to see that out of Bruce, who's been struggling as of late. 2 for his last 22. Gets the hit here.
Sitno wanted that ball up. That's exactly where Matsuzaka threw it. If you're going to go up in the strike zone, you've got to go up around the letters, especially to a hitter like Bruce. You stay around the belt, he's going to hammer it. And he did just that.
Well, the Reds' first hit puts Jay aboard with 1 out here in the bottom of the second.
It's a little different, the mechanics by Matsuzaka with a runner on base. There is no exaggerated pause. You can't do that with a runner aboard. That would be considered a balk.
Bruce is going. The pitch outside. Centeno drops the ball in the stolen base for Bruce. And looks like the Reds are kind of thinking along the same things that we were talking about earlier.
Trying to speed up the delivery to the plate. But even there, the slow breaking ball and the amount of times that Matsuzaka will use the breaking ball with a runner aboard, it allows the Reds to take the chance and steal the base.
For Jay, his 6th of the year now. He's in scoring position with 1 out.
3 consecutive breaking balls, all different breaking balls here to start Frazier. And maybe this is the point in time, Jim, where Matsuzaka goes back into the old scouting report where he's not going to give you that fastball over the plate. Split finger, slider, and the curveball there.
Well, Frazier would love nothing better than to see a fastball.
Oh, yeah.
Starts the game at 236 with 18 home runs. 72 runs batted in, which is a career high for him, and his next home run will tie the number that he hit a year ago. Reds trying to get on the board first on this Wednesday afternoon wrap up against the Mets. Swing and a miss.
Threw the fastball right by him. Matsuzaka pitched Frazier backwards there, breaking balls early. Once he got ahead, gave him the fastball right on the outside corner. When you throw that many breaking balls early in the count, Jim, it makes your fastball look that much harder and much quicker coming to the plate. And it showed there to Frazier.
So here now is Matsuzaka with the runner aboard and 2 men out. Starts him with that big curveball there for a strike. Devin at 242. 9 home runs, 42 runs batted in. Hitless in the game last night, but did drive in a run early with a ground ball. Hits this ball hard in the air to left center, but will be run down by Lagares, who makes the catch. Matsuzaka retired, and the Reds are finished in the bottom of number 2. For serious injuries, call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Look at who's on top of that list against the Mets the last 2 years. Your Cincinnati Reds. 2.46, the only team that has kept the ERA under 3 against the Mets 2012 and 2013. In fact, last night was the first game the Reds had lost to the Mets this year, and they lost that 4-2 game. This one scoreless through 2. We head to the third. Alfredo Tovar, young man who played this year at AA, had his first big league hit this past week against Cliff Lee. Had a hit in the game last night. Playing shortstop today, leads things off. He got the shot to come up here recently when Ruben Tejada, you mentioned earlier, broke his leg.
This is what you get at the end of the season for a club that's not in a pennant chase. You're trying to get a look at every prospect, and even some cases suspect big leaguer at this level. If you've got a guy in the minor leagues that you think may play here, you want to see what he can do, especially against a playoff team like the Reds. Got that one in a little bit too far. That got him on the back elbow.
9th player to be hit by Latos this year gives the Mets a leadoff man on. But we've talked a lot about the fact that in September rosters can be expanded to up to 40. The Mets have 36 players in uniform for this series.
A lot of those are pitchers.
I mean, they will not run out of pitchers in the game.
No.
Matsuzaka to bunt. That is a fair ball. Need to hurry, and they get it done as Phillips takes the throw from Mesoraco.
Well, Mesoraco was going to wait and see if that ball would roll foul, but it hugged the line a little too long. Devin made the right decision. Can't take a chance there. The ball just stays on the line. It didn't look like it was going to roll foul. At that point, you got to get it out.
Which they do, and so Matsuzaka gets his first sacrifice as a Met this year. Moves the runner Tovar into scoring position for Eric Young. Young came over in the middle of June from Colorado in a trade with the Rockies. And it's been really just what they needed out in left field. They had Duda playing left field, but when Ike Davis just could not get the job done at first, sent him down, moved Duda to first, and Young filled a very nice role for them.
Young is a good fastball hitter. That's the pitch that he gets to more times than not, but the breaking ball is still something he's got to adjust to.
That one gets away from Mesoraco, and the runner's going to move up on a swing and a miss. Boy, we saw some of that happen in last night's game, Cowboy.
Yeah, there was a swing on the pitch, and Devin just drops the ball.
He had a pass ball last night. He'll be charged with a pass ball here, putting that runner Tovar at third and forcing the Reds to move the infield in.
That's not a wild pitch. I know that's what they ruled it as, but
that went right off the glove of Mesoraco.
That is a pass ball big time.
What they hope for here is a strikeout, a pop up, slow ground ball at an infielder, or a hard ground ball, but right at an infielder, in order to get the out, keep that runner at third, and then have everybody move back to normal depth.
Matt's got 181 strikeouts at the moment. This is the time that you have to reach into the bag of tricks and come up with a pitch.
Broken bat into right. Phillips, it looked like, thought Votto was going to get it. Votto broke to the bag. Phillips stood still. Ball rolled into shallow right. Young gets the RBI, and the Mets take the 1-0 lead.
This is what you call hitting them where they ain't. There was no way that Votto was going to get that ball. There was no way that Phillips was going to get that ball.
Now the ball that gets away from Mesoraco, at least right now, has cost the Reds a run. Young gets RBI number 30. Mets, who jumped in front in the second inning last night with 4, jump in front in the third inning here today. Here's Justin Turner.
Well, as bad as Young looked on the breaking ball earlier, he may have wanted to go back to the breaking ball there at least for one more pitch. But you break a guy's bat, that's all you can ask for. They fooled him either way.
Turner struck out his first time. This is the guy, Turner, out of Cal State Fullerton, who was drafted initially back in 2006 by the Reds. He was a 7th round pick by Cincinnati that year. Ultimately traded by the Reds to Baltimore in the Ryan Friel, Ramon Hernandez deal.
Always has been a middle end fastball hitter. And Latos got him on the fastball away last time with a very meager swing on that pitch down and away. This guy likes the ball close to him. You're Matt Latos here after the hit batter, the pass ball, the broken bat single into right. You just regroup and go right back at him.
Line in and out of the glove of Frazier. Everybody's going to be safe. That had the makings of a potential double play, and Frazier held on to that ball with a runner from first, Young, breaking off. But instead, everybody's safe. 2 on with 1 out.
Well, those are 2 very unique hits. A line drive to third out of the webbing of Frazier's glove as it bounces off towards the shortstop is Torres. And again, no play.
So you get the ball off the glove of Matsuzaka that allows Tovar to move to third. You get the broken back ground ball through the right side that barely made it into the outfield grass. And now you get that one. 9 times out of 10 is a double play ball.
That's why this game tests your mettle, your mentality, and your toughness.
Here's Daniel Murphy, who kept his hitting streak alive with a base hit his first time. Now it's 7 in a row. Batting with 2 on and 1 out.
Mets were able to put a big inning together last night, and that's all they needed.
There's one. There's another. A double play is Turris and Votto. They erase Turner and Murphy, putting an end to the third. But the Mets strike first with a run. This weekend, the Buckeyes must control the Badgers' running game. And 4 teams with low salaries are primed to make the postseason for baseball, while the Yankees and their $230 million payroll stay at home. See who got their money's worth this season. And you can also join Hal McCoy this afternoon during his live chat using our Game Connect feature. FoxSportsOhio.com has complete coverage from all of today's action involving Ohio sports. 1-0 Mets. We head to the bottom of the third. Back to work, Matsuzaka. 52 and 40 by way of his career numbers. This being appearance in the big leagues number 124, start number 123. He's pitched in some big games in the big leagues despite all those years in Japan. He was the Game 7 winner back in 2007 against Cleveland. Final game of the American League Championship Series. Now is Turris, who along with 2 of the only 2 Reds that have faced Matsuzaka before today, pulls that ball to the wall and right, and he has himself a leadoff double to start the Reds' third.
Is Turris swinging early. Tries to come in with the fastball, and he smokes that baby down the right field line.
I think the last start that Turris had was that 3-hit game he put together against the Dodgers. That Saturday afternoon game.
Get a chance to play this time of the year, and you're a bench player, you got to come on with it.
Dusty explained his move, although he bristles sometimes when was asked about the starting lineup. He was asked today about why is Turris and not Cozart, and he said 2 reasons. Mostly the fact that he wanted to give Cozart a day. He started to see a little bit of something in his swing as of late that he wasn't seeing when he was hitting the ball so well. He said if I could give him today and then tomorrow, the off day, he'll be ready to go the rest of the way. And he said, of course, he wanted to keep his Turris sharp. Bunt in the air, and it's caught by the first baseman, Lucas Duda. Latos been pretty good at laying down the sacrifice bunt this year, but not that time.
Jim, you know as well as I do, every pitch, every play, every swing of the bat, at this point in the season, it is magnified to the nth degree. That's why it takes the ultimate concentration. This is where the fundamentals in baseball come into hand. Bunt the top half of the ball, make sure you get it on the ground.
So here's Billy Hamilton now. He started the Reds first by striking out on a very nice split finger pitch from Matsuzaka. Hamilton actually faced Matsuzaka twice this year when Matsuzaka was pitching at AAA Columbus. Went a total of 1 for 5 against him. Matsuzaka made 19 starts with a 5-8 record and a 3.9 ERA at AAA Columbus for the Indians. In fact, he did face the Reds this spring. I think it was the Reds game that he left with the injury you were talking about earlier.
Yes, when he was with the Indians.
Right. Shallow left field. Young is there, and that's the second out here in the bottom of the third. Hamilton 0 for 2. One thing you do not want to see him do, Cowboys, hit the ball in the air, do you?
No, and that's one of the reasons that Matsuzaka came in with the fastball there. You do not want to give Billy Hamilton a pitch out over the plate that he can slap into left field. That's Billy's game. And it's also where Billy has got to improve his game. With that fastball in, he's got to learn to inside out that ball rather than getting underneath it.
So here's Chu with a runner aboard and 2 out. Chu a strikeout victim his first time, although he has had success against Matsuzaka coming into this game. 4 for 14 with a couple of home runs. He was with the Indians, Matsuzaka with the Red Sox. Now he'll get a look at a 2-0 pitch. To a nice series so far. 5 out of 10 first 2 games, including the big game winner in the 10th inning Monday night. He's got that wrap, Cowboy, on his left arm and down near his thumb just to protect that thing where he jammed it in Pittsburgh last weekend.
And that'll be there for the entirety of the remainder of this season, just trying to protect that arm as much as you can, and the thumb as well.
21 home runs, 54 RBIs for Chu on the year. 3-1.
Well, Matsuzaka really changing things up when he gets runners aboard. You see all kinds of breaking balls then.
He walks Chu on 5, his first walk of this game. Puts the go-ahead run on base for the Reds. Going to bring Votto to the dish. He scalded the ball his first time, unfortunately for him, right at the center fielder. Votto, of course, tied a franchise record on Monday with 5 walks in the game. Yesterday hitless in 4 with a couple of strikeouts. Jonathan Neese pitched him pretty tough, didn't he?
Jonathan Neese facing the left-handers yesterday. He was just coming at him. He was cutting the fastball, and I guess where Neese really made things tough on the lefties is he was able to throw that breaking ball for a strike. And when you can do that, it really doesn't matter if you're righty or lefty. When you have a secondary pitch that you can throw for a strike with that kind of movement, it makes it tough on even the best of hitters.
Votto hits another one well towards center. Lagares will go back on this ball and settle under it. Joey is 0 for 2. Reds leave a couple, and through the first third of this game, the Mets up by a run. This afternoon. Last night you guys were talking, Cowboy, about the team captains in Mets history. Today, how about the team captains in Reds history? Now, we know one of them.
B. Lark.
B. Lark. We know that one.
It's the only one I know.
Well, mull it over. You got your thinking cap on. See what you can come up with. Team captains in Reds history. AT&T trivia question of the afternoon. Meanwhile, Lucas Duda will lead things off for the Mets. Flied out to left to end the first. Bats here in the fourth against Matt Latos, who has thrown through the first 3 innings of this game, 44 pitches. He's allowed a run on 3 hits with 1 strikeout. Out in front of that ball. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes to Duda.
And even with the run scored in the third, Latos has thrown the ball very well. Two very unlikely base hits. One, a snapped bat that stopped before it got to Jay Bruce in right field with the infield pulled in.
Duda this year has hit 15 home runs, which equals the number he hit a year ago, but his RBI total way down. 15 home runs, only 33 runs batted in. A lot of that goes to what we were talking about earlier, a sub 200 average with runners in scoring position. Did that skim him? It did. Duda hit by the pitch at 2-2, so the second batter hit by Latos in this game.
And the problem with that hit batter is they are leadoff batters. It just got the jersey.
Latos had hit 8 going into today. He's hit 2 now, and they'll go back to the stretch and face Juan Lagares with a runner aboard, nobody out. Frazier and on the grass at third. Lagares 1 for 9 in this series. In the air, it'll be handled by Hamilton. That is out number 1. Bring Mike Baxter to the plate. Mets team will go home, take on the Milwaukee Brewers for the final 4 games of the season, beginning tomorrow night at Citi Field. Reds actually go to New York very early next year in April, first part of April. Their one trip to New York to take on the Mets. Mets will go back later on to take on the Yankees again for the second time in 3 years out at Yankee Stadium.
Could be a little chilly in April.
Could be, yeah. Season next year, of course, starts that last day of March, March 31. Two balls, no strikes now to Baxter. And now 3-0.
Matt trying to use the two-seam fastball here to the left-hander. And the ball's running off the plate or running down and away. That one got up and away.
Baxter, a native of New York, grew up in Whitestone, New York, but went to high school in Queens. Talk about a total different environment. He went to college then at Vanderbilt. From New York to Nashville.
It's kind of like Mississippi to San Francisco.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, you can relate.
Yes, I can.
Walk is the first by Latos. Just a reminder, coming up later in the broadcast this afternoon, we'll have our Miller Time moment of the game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Duda moves down to second base. Baxter joins him on the bases. Devin Mesoraco out to the mound. Juan Centeno, the catcher, is at the dish. I've heard you say it Monday and Tuesday, Cowboy, and it's true. You let these teams hang around. The longer they stay in the game, the more they feel like they can win the game.
That's exactly right.
Mets lead 1-0. We're in the 4th. And had the claw for the 3-2 10-inning victory on Monday night. Lost 4-2 last night thanks to that 4-run second, highlighted by the 3-run homer by Donnie Murphy in the second inning. They lead 1-0 here with a run in the 3rd. Latos will make the play on this ball. Runners move up, 2 out.
And if you think about it, Jim, when you're 72 and 85, you're not going to the playoffs. You have no chance at the wild card. These last few games of the season are your playoffs, and when you're playing a team that is going into the playoffs, such as the Reds, it makes it even that much more special. The Mets would like nothing more than to put a damper on the Reds season.
Gives you a little something to hang your hat on at the end of the year, doesn't it?
That's right.
Reds will intentionally walk Tovar to bring the pitcher Matsuzaka up there with the bases loaded and 2 men out, trying to keep it a 1-0 game. Hit batsman, a 1-out walk, 2-out intentional pass will load him up for the Mets. Where they are just about to get underway now in St. Louis. The Nationals and the Cardinals, a 1:45 start. That game will feature Jordan Zimmerman at 19-8 for the Nationals. Shelby Miller 14-9 for the Cardinals. Well, what about Michael Wacha, Cowboy, last night, losing that no-hitter with 2 out in the 9th inning for St. Louis?
I thought he looked awfully good when he was here.
Cardinals won that game. Pirates, of course, won at Chicago. The Cardinals start the day 2 ahead of Pittsburgh, 3 ahead of the Reds with 4 remaining. Matsuzaka is a ball to strike. He's never batted with the bases loaded before. Latos trying to dispose of him, keep this a 1-run game into the bottom half of the inning. Nice block there by Matsuzaka. You got to be awfully confident in your catcher to throw a pitch like that with the bases loaded, don't you?
And Matsuzaka has not even taken the bat off his shoulder. Matter of fact, he has not even made a stride towards the mound to swing the bat.
Got him on strikes on the 2-2 pitch, and so the Mets leave them loaded. They've stranded 6. Reds have Phillips, Bruce, and Frazier in the bottom half. At the Great American Ballpark this Friday, see your Reds in action when they take on those Pittsburgh Pirates. Then stick around after the game for a spectacular fireworks show thanks to Mission Foods. For tickets to see the Reds and the Pirates this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, call 513 888-381-RED. You can visit select Kroger locations, or you can log on to reds.com/tickets. A reminder, after the game, stay with us. Reds Live post game brought to you by King's Honda in the King's Auto Mall. We invite you to visit kingshondausa.com. Jim Day, Jeff Pecoro will head that coverage up. Reds Live post game. Extra game for you today. This game was not on the original broadcast schedule, but the important nature of this contest. So a big tip of the cap to Fox Sports Ohio for putting this one on today. Final game of this series against the Mets. Brandon Phillips will lead things off against Daisuke Matsuzaka here in the bottom of the fourth. He's walked one. He's fanned four. I mentioned he had 3 terrible starts when he signed with the Mets in late August, giving up a total of 15 runs in 12 1/3 innings. Those first 3 starts. The last 3 starts, 4 runs in 18 2/3. Big difference. ERA of under 2. He gets Phillips to bat first here in the bottom of the fourth.
He has definitely had the Reds off balance here early in this ball game. The Reds are now seeing Matsuzaka for the second time through the lineup.
Phillips took a called third strike his first time. Check swing. Oh, Matsuzaka does a nice job to get off the mound on that ball and make the play. And Phillips is out. Pretty good agility right there.
Slow curveball that fooled Phillips. And Matsuzaka, he may have a little unorthodox delivery, but he showed some athletic prowess there by getting to that ball. And some pretty good balance on that throw.
So he gets the leadoff man. In fact, he's been able to do that 3 of the 4 innings in this game, only giving up the double to Izturis last inning. Now he deals with Bruce. Solid single his first time. 1-0 Mets. We're in the bottom of the fourth. Jay at 30 home runs, 3rd in the league, 107 RBIs, 2nd in the league.
It's not only the control of Matsuzaka and the different pitches that he throws, but it's the spread and velocity of those pitches. The fastball, 92 miles an hour, split finger, down around 83, 84, and then you'll see that over the top curveball at 73. You've got 20 miles an hour difference between fastball and your slowest breaking ball. Makes it tough on any hitter.
Bruce takes that one at the knees, 2-1. He's going to really have to go some to continue the pace that he has been on in terms of home runs. His home run totals have increased every year that he has been in the big leagues. Last year, career best 34. This year, 30. Last one coming down in Houston, that grand slam. He is at 107 in terms of RBIs, a career high. Career high in hits.
And doubles.
And doubles, exactly right.
I don't think there's any question mark as far as the overall production numbers for Jay Bruce. If you had to pick a weak spot for Jay, it would just be the strikeout numbers. Everything else in his game is spot on.
That is ball 4, and so the Reds' number 6 hitter, check that, number 5 hitter, is on base with 1 out here in the 4th inning. He's been on twice. And now will be Todd Frazier. Frazier a hit last night, a double in the 2nd. He's hitting 6 in a row. Bruce took advantage. Cowboy, that slow move to the plate by Matsuzaka his first time, and stole a base. Held over there by Duda. Reds trailing 1-0. We're in the bottom of the fourth here at Great American Ballpark. Final weekday day game of this regular season. Jammed. Sentinel off with a mask, but into the seats it goes.
Well, there was so much talk in Pittsburgh about the final 3 games of the season, and for those to matter and to have the ability for them to really count and get the chance to have home field advantage in a wild card game, or really even have a chance at the division title. You got to win today.
Yeah, in order to win the division title, you need some help. Now, to get to the wild card game and have it at home, you still control your own fate. That is to win today and then take 2 out of 3 against Pittsburgh.
Correct.
You do that, that game is going to be here at Great American Ballpark regardless. Bruce was on the move, and Frazier fouled it, because if the Reds take 2 out of 3 from Pittsburgh, they will win the season series, and thus if the 2 teams would end in a tie, which that could be the case, the Reds would own that tiebreaker with the season series advantage. Not to say that they can't go over to Pittsburgh and win, because they certainly proved that last weekend, but I mean, you had your druthers. You certainly rather have it here.
Well, especially with the way that the Reds have played at home this year. They have just been awfully good here in this ballpark.
Not the best, but one of the best in the National League. They've won 49 games at home this year. Only Atlanta with 53, and the Cardinals and the Pirates with 50, and the National League have won more. Reds could join that crowd with a victory here today. In fact, they could probably end up ahead. They will end up hopefully ahead of the Pirates in home wins. They're done at home.
Boy, Matsuzaka has really got Frazier guessing here.
Got him on what turned out to be a fastball his first time, right? Bruce with a lead at first with 1 out. He's going. Inside, ball 3. High throw, stolen base. This has been a 2-steal game for Jay Bruce.
Centeno showed a phenomenal arm right there. That was a terrible pitch to throw on. Centeno had to reach behind Frazier to get the ball, then throw over the top of him. Boy, he threw a rocket shot down to second base, but still unable to get Bruce.
7th stolen base of the year for Bruce, and the first time he's ever stolen 2 bases in a game in his career. And now Frazier hit by the pitch at 3-2. And so the Reds have stirred the pot here in the bottom of the fourth. 2 on with 1 out. Done it without the benefit of a hit, a walk, a steal, a hit batsman. Now Devin Mesoraco. Proven to be, at least if you think back lately, this series and the Pirates series, a pretty clutch hitter as of late.
Really has. He had scored the game-winning run in Game 1 and drove in the game-winning 2 run, or game-tying 2 runs, I guess I should say, in Pittsburgh.
Hit the ball hard, unfortunately, right at the center fielder Lagares his first time.
And immediately Matsuzaka trying to take the aggressiveness away from Mesoraco by floating the breaking ball over for strike 1.
60 pitches now for Matsuzaka. We talked earlier about this veteran 33-year-old trying to earn a spot next year. They have used a dozen starters this year. Now, injuries have certainly played a big part of that. Lack of success has played a big part of it also. Cut off by the third baseman. There's one. There's two. That's a 5-4-3. Around the horn double play hit into by Devin Mesoraco. The Reds through 4, down by a run. Cincinnati Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio is brought to you by Toyota. See your Toyota dealer or visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. They're on the high school football road to glory tomorrow night in Dayton when the Warriors of Winton Woods head up I-75 to match up with the Thurgood Marshall Cougars. Brian Giesenslaw, Jeff Pecoro have all the action starting at 7 right here on Fox Sports Ohio.
Boy, when you're 16, 17, 18 years old, Friday night is what it's all about.
I remember it big.
Oh, baby, baby.
Put those pads on and get ready to roll.
That's right. We don't win tonight, our life is over. That's what you're thinking.
Half of that big deal was the fact that you're out of school for 2 days.
Yeah.
Top of the order now. Eric Young leads things off. He quickly finds himself in the hole. No balls and 2 strikes.
Get on that bus. You're driving to your opponent's field and the butterflies are stirring. The adrenaline's pumping. Can't sleep all night.
You remember it very, very well.
I was just worried about my line blocking for me. When you're the quarterback, you don't like getting blindsided.
Now, did you play in Alabama or Mississippi?
Alabama.
Yeah, Alabama. Okay.
That's back when the Bear was at Alabama. Everything was about football. Not that it's changed a whole lot.
Sure, sure.
Now that Nick Saban is there.
How is it down in Jackson Friday nights?
It's the same.
Big?
It just doesn't change.
Pretty big around here, too.
Yeah, it is part of our national issue, whether it's Midwest or South or out West, doesn't matter.
Strikeout of Young is the 3rd of this game by Matt Latos, and so the leadoff man gone.
Looked like a breaking ball up in the strike zone. It's the one thing about Eric Young. He has a difficult time with the off-speed pitch, regardless of the location. But he can hit a fastball now.
There's Justin Turner, the former Reds draftee.
You saw how hard he hit that ball last time off the glove of Frazier. That was a pitch that stayed middle in. You do not want to get the ball in there with him. Oh.
He gets under this one and in the air to center. Hamilton awaits its arrival for out number 2.
Latos fortunate there. That ball ran back over the plate. Got a guy that's a former Red in the minor leagues. Didn't get really to the big leagues for any length of time here with the Reds. He wants a little payback. He's looking to hit the ball out of the ballpark.
So 2 men out. Now it's Daniel Murphy, 28-year-old native of Jacksonville, Florida. Straight left-handed hitter. Put together some pretty good years for this team.
He's a hitter. He is a hitter. Makes good contact.
Upwards of 280 each of the last 2 years and over 300 in 2011. An on-base percentage of over 320 all those years.
He likes the ball out over the plate, but he's very confident with the ball in. Stay hard, stay down and away.
Amidst all the injuries that this club has had this year, he has been one of the constants on the infield. And they're day in, day out at second base. Single back in the first, extending his hitting streak to 7. Hit into a double play ball that ended the third.
There you go.
To his Turris. Inning over. Second time in this game that Matt Latos has authored a perfect inning. Here come the Reds now in the bottom of number 5. We talked about Mets captains today. Name the captains in Reds baseball history. We threw out Barry Larkin earlier. You guys get anybody else? Billy Myers, Pete Rose. I don't know how many people remember Pete Rose being a team captain. David Concepcion. And then, of course, Barry Larkin, the one that Cowboy picked up earlier. So Myers, Rose, Concepcion, and Barry Larkin, 4 captains in team history. Did you know that Rose and Concepcion were captains at one time?
I did not.
I didn't either. Good information to have.
Did they wear the C?
I don't know that. I don't know that. as Torres leads it off here in the bottom of the 5th. Double to start the 3rd his first time. Switch hitter been struggling to get above the 200 mark all year. Started this game at 194. He's sitting right at 200 right now. Takes a 3-0 strike.
Well, regardless of whether his Torres gets a base hit, walks, error, you just need him to get aboard with Latos in the on deck circle.
He'll pull this ball right at Murphy, the second baseman, and his Torres is out to start the bottom of the 5th. That'll be the pitcher Latos with the bases empty. Now the Reds and Fox Sports Ohio like to send out a very special birthday wish today. In fact, a couple of them. How about first to George Beckner. George was a B-17 pilot during World War II and a prisoner of war. Turns 95 today. George Beckner, 95. Happy birthday, George. Thank you for your service to our country all those many years ago. And how about to Irma Donnelly, lifelong Reds fan, turning 91. He's at Christ Hospital. Says he's always telling those folks at the hospital, I want to watch Reds baseball. Give me that Reds baseball. Happy birthday, folks. Latos trying to get aboard here with 1 out. Billy Hamilton waits on deck. Reds down 1-0 in the 5th. Latos a strikeout victim. 5 of them now for Matsuzaka.
Been a quiet afternoon thus far for Billy Hamilton. Strikeout first time up. Fly ball with a runner at second, back in the 3rd. Reds need him on to create a little action. He may bunt here.
Good call. He shows bunt, takes strike 1. Hamilton in this game has struck out. Fly to left. He's 0 for 2. Only his 3rd start, and in each of the first 2 starts that he made, in a 3-hit game. Now he's down a couple of strikes. In that 3-hit game down in Houston. Another one in Pittsburgh.
And in one of those at bats, we saw Hamilton looked like he was going to bunt on the first pitch, took it. The second time, the 3rd baseman was right down his throat. He just bunted it down the first baseline.
That's easy money.
For him it is, that's for sure. And the Nationals taking a 1-0 lead against the Cardinals and Shelby Miller. An RBI single by Bryce Harper. Scores Denard Span. 1-0 Nats, bottom of the 1st at St. Louis. Pirates will start in 10 minutes in Chicago. It's a foul ball.
It is kind of weird that the Cubs, the bottom dwellers here in the Central, are playing the Pirates right now. And when they leave the Pirates, they go to St. Louis.
Yeah. So the team that the Reds beat up on most of the year, but then lost that late series to them here, has a real opportunity to affect how things turn out for this Redlegs team. Well, as you said, though, that's the saving grace you have if you're a team that's out of it. You get to spoil some things for other clubs.
At least you have something to play for.
Almost as if you're saying to that team, you don't think we're any good? Watch us go out. Well, the Brewers turned the trick on the Reds, what, a couple of times late in the year in that area.
The Brewers played the Reds very tough and very tight here in 2013.
That's a club, Cowboy, Milwaukee, that I think will be back next year.
Well, they'll have Ryan Braun back. There's a possibility that they'll have Corey Hart back. And a lot of the Brewers' issues really revolve around their pitching.
Sure.
And they seem to have found a closer in Jim Henderson. You don't know from year to year how that will do. Henderson really hasn't established himself more than 1 year. He's had a heck of a year this year. But starting pitching, I don't care how you slice it or dice it. You can hit all day. If you can't pitch, you're not going to win.
On the ground right side. It's going to be a race. Safe the call at first base. Hamilton beats Matsuzaka to the bag despite the effort by Lucas Duda to get him the ball in a hurry.
That is speed. That last little hop was a little high, and Billy Hamilton smelling hit all the way. And he just flat beat Matsuzaka to the bag. Tie goes to the runner. So they say.
They both hit the bag at the exact same time. Hamilton gets his 7th hit of the year. How often do you see a base hit on what normally is a 3-1 put out?
Well, there's not too many batters that I've seen that beat out a ground ball to first.
Let's see if the Reds can take advantage of it now.
Sound the trumpet.
Chew up their over one with a walk. Had nice success against this right-hander Matsuzaka. Hamilton 13 of 13 in stolen bases this year. He's going. Pitch the ball. And the throw is there. And they've got him. And that's the first time Hamilton has been caught. And he's caught by the youngster Juan Centeno to retire the side. Build your stadium and make the decisions to guide your team to the World Series. Download MLB Baseball Empire free today. Data and usage rates will apply. One nothing Mets. We head to the 6th inning. Billy Hamilton caught stealing for the first time. A couple of things about that stolen base attempt, Cowboy. One, it didn't look like Billy had as big a lead as we normally see him get. And two, Centeno's throw was a perfect one.
Perfect throw, and it was also a slide step, quick delivery by Matsuzaka. And what Matsuzaka did there is, instead of trying to make a pitch in order to get out Chu, he made a pitch in order to get a good throw for Centeno. That ball was on the outside part of the plate. It was very quick delivery, up and away. It allowed Centeno to stand up, and he put it right on the money. Hey, even the best get thrown out.
Nice throw by Centeno. Good tag by Tovar. Billy caught for the first time in his big league career. So the Reds have had but 3 hits, stranded 4, and have not scored through the first 5 innings of this game. Head to the 6th inning. Lucas Duda leads things off. Fly out in the first, hit by a pitch in the 4th. Duda now 1 for his last 23, but that 1 was the home run in the 6th inning here on Monday night.
When Billy Hamilton comes to the plate, everybody slides to the front of their seat. Not a whole lot of folks leaning back. They want to make sure they don't miss anything.
Well, he made the comment prior to the game today, or maybe it was after the game last night. He really didn't expect this kind of publicity and the like coming up here in September. He's not objecting to it. He just didn't expect it.
Well, I think that as time goes on, Billy's going to realize that the talent that he has and his unique little area as far as base stealing and speed, we haven't seen a base stealer in so long that is just as prolific as he. And it's not just the base stealing ability, Jim. It's the ground ball to first, and that the fact that he beat it out, and every time he comes to the plate, the defense is, they're put on the edge, whether you're a middle infielder, a corner guy, a catcher. I mean, you could see Centeno, he was on his toes.
Nice off-speed pitch there by Latos, sends Duda back to the dugout.
Breaking ball down in the zone. After the long foul home run, Duda looking for another pitch in there that he can keep fair. He got one in there, but the bottom fell out of it.
So strikeout number 4 for Latos, who's now retired 5 in a row. Deals with the center fielder of the Mets, Lagares. Just twice tried Hamilton in center with no luck. Baxter waits on deck.
Only 3 runs in the last 22 innings for the Reds.
And tough to produce offense for this team since that big outburst on Sunday in Pittsburgh when they scored 11 times. The 3 here on Monday, the 2 last night, and nothing, as Cowboy mentioned, so far here today.
Well, this has been an issue for this club all year long, whether it be hitting with runners in scoring position, scoring runs in bunches, however you want to put it.
Well, they have been able to rise to the occasion in the last month or so against the teams in which they need to, most notably the Cardinals, the Dodgers, the Pirates. But it's been those series against the sub 500 teams that they had normally put up great numbers against, that lately they've been struggling against, other than the Houston Astros. Most notably the Cubs and the Brewers, and now the Mets are giving them all they can handle here.
Another yellowhammer by Latos. Ball starting up around the chest of the batter and just straight down drop.
The 2 batters, 2 strikeouts, and now here's Mike Baxter. Reds have in fact improved their record against teams above the 500 mark. Remember, there was a huge discrepancy in that area midway point of the year to 35 and 39. Only 4 games under 500 against teams with plus 500 records. 55 and 29 against teams under the 500 mark. Other than the Dodgers and the Nationals, there's no other National League team that has more wins against teams under 500 than the Reds.
Well, the Reds need one more such victory here today.
Right.
Because the Mets would qualify at 72 and 85.
And it just puts you in a position, as we talked about early in this game, it puts you in a position to not have your back against the wall going into the weekend where you potentially have to sweep the series against Pittsburgh. I don't care where you play it. That's hard to do against any team.
I mean, even sweeping the Houston Astros took the Reds into extra innings to try to accomplish that feat.
There, strike 3 call. Up and down go the Mets. Strikeout swinging Duda. Looking Lagares. Looking Baxter. Chu, Votto, Phillips in the bottom of the 6th. You're on the Reds this Sunday when they take on the Pirates here at Great American Ballpark, and make sure you arrive early. Be one of the first 20,000 fans to receive a 2013 team photo presented by First Student. For tickets to this final game of the regular season, call 513-381-REDS. Visit select Kroger locations or log on to reds.com/tickets.
This is a good spot for the Reds. They've got good numbers coming up with Chu, Votto, Phillips, then Bruce, all in consecutive fashion. Got to make some hay sooner or later.
Matsuzaka to Chu to start the bottom of the 6th.
Matt Latos has held up his end of the bargain here today.
Well, he sure has. Looking at the innings in which Matsuzaka has worked in this game, he faced a runner in scoring position in the 2nd. Lagares gives way to Young, who makes the catch, and Chu is gone. He worked with 2 on, 2 out in the 3rd, 2 on, 1 out in the 4th, which was really the biggest threat the Reds had. That's when Matsuzaka hit into the double play.
That pitch was up and out over the plate, but it was a split finger at 86 miles an hour. And you could see where Chu got it off the end of the bat. And that's what Matsuzaka has done all day. He has kept the Reds from getting the good part of the bat to the baseball. They've either been behind it or ahead of it or just flat out missed it.
I guess Matsuzaka has had what Dusty Baker and Brian Price have talked about with Johnny Cueto, pressure-free innings for the most part.
Really has.
Votto today 0 for 2.
Votto changing his approach a little bit there, putting his hands on his knees, held the bat in front. That motion of Matsuzaka and that big pause at the top sometimes puts you in a bind at the plate. You get ready too soon.
Joey got under it, sent it into center field. Lagares is going to handle Votto for the 3rd time today. Here's a question now, Cowboy, and you bring up a good point. When he's at the top of that rotation like that and he pauses, as a batter, can you step out and call time?
Well, you're not supposed to. Once he starts that motion, the umpire is not supposed to allow you timeout. But because the pause is,
would you say 3 seconds?
So long, yeah. I'd just test him out.
Yeah,
because what he's doing, what Matsuzaka is doing, is trying to throw off the timing of the hitter, not only with his pitches but with his mechanics as well. And when you pause that long at the top, you're sitting there holding the bat up above your head, waiting on him to come to the plate. And let's face it, hitting is all about timing.
Sure. Well, it would be interesting to see, wouldn't it? I wonder if it was done in the early years of his time with Boston. He pauses up there for, you counted it earlier, it was a full 3 seconds. Whether you could step out on him right now.
Well, it's one thing to step out. It's another thing to get time when you step out.
Sure.
Because it's all about the umpire behind home plate, which today is Greg Gibson. But I haven't seen a Reds batter call timeout or step out, anything yet.
To right field, and Baxter. Long run, he gets there. And the Reds go down in order. Daisuke Matsuzaka has been very good for the Mets through 6.
to you by Head and Shoulders, now with a hint of Old Spice. And it's all about Matt Latos. Drop the hammer on the Mets here in the 6th. Literally, the yellow hammer. Curveball, curveball, and then a lightning fastball to sit down Mike Baxter. That is your whiff, brought to you by Head and Shoulders. We were talking earlier about just the pause of Matsuzaka, and even Brandon Phillips was talking about it after the fly ball to right. It definitely throws off your timing, and it messes with you at the plate.
Well, that just looked exactly what he was saying right there. That whole thing is messing me up.
Well, supposedly your windup or the stretch is supposed to be one fluid motion. You're not supposed to stop. Matsuzaka stops
and is allowed to do so.
It's not supposed to be allowed to do so.
That's what he brought to this league back in 2007, and that's what he's used every year since, right? Juan Centeno, the catcher, and the first such man to throw out Billy Hamilton in the big leagues, leads things off here in the top of the 7th. And a good pitching matchup, as the Hall of Famer would like to say, a good one.
But let's face this, though, Jim, unless someone calls it to the attention of the umpires and makes enough of an issue about it, they're not going to say anything. They're umpiring the game, the events that are happening right now.
Phillips will make this play. Well, again, you have to wonder, back in the day when he first came up in 07, 08, those first couple of years, did someone make an issue of it at all?
I don't know. But I know if I'm in the Reds dugout and that's happening right now, and every hitter I've got that's going to the plate is having a problem with it, I'm going to create as much of a distraction as I can. Even if it does nothing but get into the head of Matsuzaka.
Now, we talked about how well he has thrown in his last 3 starts, and he's topped those numbers today with 6 innings of shutout baseball. You got to believe that Sandy Alderson, the GM of this club, Terry Collins, the manager, Dan Worthen, the pitching coach, are looking at this performance and what he has done over the last 3 starts prior to today and going, maybe we do have something for next year. Matsuzaka, to his credit, and as you would expect, said leading into today's game, hey, I'm not even thinking about next year. They're going to say that, but you know they are.
Pitching for a contract.
Sure.
Wow.
Latos thought he had Tovar rung up right there. Did not get the call he desired from Greg Gibson.
I don't know that you can make a better pitcher's pitch. Bingo.
Makes him 1 extra to retire Tovar on strikes. There's 9 in a row now set down by Latos. Well, nightly on Fox Sports Live, join Jay on Wright and Dan O'Toole, along with Donovan McNabb, Andy Roddick, and Carissa Thompson, as they bring you all the scores, news, and highlights that you require. Catch Fox Sports Live nightly on Fox Sports 1. Matsuzaka has a sac bunt in the 3rd. He struck out in the 4th with the bases loaded. Tovar, who was walked intentionally in the 4th inning, is the last Met to reach. And we talked earlier, Cowboy, at the top of the broadcast, about Latos and how well he has pitched at home. 9-1 here. And he has exceeded our expectations, really.
He's doing what he's done all year long. He's doing what he's done since he put a Reds uniform on. And that is dominate at Great American Ballpark.
Overall 14 last year, 14 this year. He came into this game with a 2.99 ERA here at Great American Ballpark. Lowest of any pitcher with at least 10 starts in his career here. Off the glove of Votto and out into right. Matsuzaka is going to be on. They were playing him on the line, and that's exactly where he hit the ball.
Joey played that one off to the side again. You play deep for a reason. That way you can knock the ball down. You stay in front of it. You square up on that ball instead of playing it off to the side. That way when the ball does take a hop, it hits you in the chest and bounce down in front of you.
15 errors this year for Votto at first base. Very uncharacteristic of the former Gold Glover. Now Izturis will throw out Young. Makes the error a moot point in terms of this inning. It sends us to stretch time here at Great American Ballpark. The game's only run scored on this base hit by Eric Young back in the third. Scored Tovar. Gave the Mets a 1-0 lead. This game has been dominated by pitching on both sides for Latos. There's one of the 7 strikeouts he has, and he had, of course, a big double play behind him. That game in the third hit into by Daniel Murphy. Matsuzaka been very good as well. Chew one of the 5 strikeouts that he has. And a big chance for the Reds in the fourth. Matsuzaka with 2 on and 1 out. Bounced into that 5-4-3 double play. And that's been the story of this game. Our Honda game summary. You see that 4th hit on the Mets side. That ball hit by Matsuzaka, which we said was an error and really was an error, was ruled as a hit for the Mets pitcher. That's why they have 4 hits and there are no errors on the board on either side.
You see that a lot in the big leagues. You're seeing more and more players turn to the side on a ball that's hit right at them. That way, if they play it off to the side and it bounces past them and not right into the glove, they get the benefit of the call. That's not how you're taught. If you're a young player and you're coming up, you get in front of the baseball, you square up. That way, if the ball bounces and you don't get it into the glove, you play it off your chest, off your stomach, the ball falls down in front, you pick it up and you make your throw, especially if you're on the right side of the infield where you have all day to make a play.
Hard back to the mound and off the feet of Matsuzaka, who makes the play on the Duda for the out. Well, you know things are going your way when that kind of thing happens. Jay scalded that ball. Terry Collins, the manager. Trainer come out of the dugout on the Mets side.
Looked like it caught him at the bottom of the foot. May have hit underneath that left foot as he turned. May have hit underneath the spike and bounced off towards the back of the mound.
Cardinals get a run in the third inning. They've now tied the Nationals. That game is 1-1 at Busch Stadium, St. Louis. Cardinals could eliminate the Reds today from National League Central Division title hopes if they win and the Reds lose this one. Frazier bats. He's 0 for 1. Reds elimination number going into today is 2. Combination of Cardinal wins, Reds losses equaling 2, and their hopes to repeat as NL Central title holders would be dashed. Turner will throw out Frazier at first base. 2 down.
Matsuzaka came into this ball game today with a 2-3 record and a 5.52 ERA. This is only his 7th start this year.
He went 7 innings 2 starts ago at home against the Marlins, allowing 1 run, 2 hits. That was in a 3-1 Mets win, and he is an out away from another 7-inning outing here today. That's going to be playable for Centeno. And he has it. The Reds go in order for the 2nd straight inning and for the 3rd time in this game. O'clock. Join us for the last Reds weekly program of the season. Brandon Phillips will sit down with Jim Day and watch some of his most spectacular defensive plays. That's a big feature on tonight's show. Plus, it's one of the most incredible views of a Reds game you'll ever see, even if you don't have a ticket. Why is Dusty so popular with his players? All that ground covered tonight on Reds Weekly. That's at 6 o'clock and brought to you by Safe Auto. Drive safe, spend less.
New pitcher for the Reds as Matt Latos done for the day, and He pitched phenomenal, did Matt Latos. It'll be left-hander Manny Parra. You see the 3.45 ERA for Parra. Well, in his last 43 appearances since June 11th, he has a 1.87 ERA.
So Parra on in relief of Latos. Justin Turner, the number 2 hitter in the Mets order, leads things off. And a grand total of 7 hits on the board in this game. 4 by the Mets, 3 by the Reds. Pitching has been at a premium here today on both sides, Latos and Matsuzaka. That one lone run in the 3rd. The difference in this game. Remember, that was a hit batsman, a sac bunt. Then that ball on the swing and a miss by Young, which allowed Tovar to go to 3rd, which originally was ruled a pass ball, then changed to a wild pitch, then changed back to a pass ball. It allowed that runner to get to 3rd and ultimately score on Young's hit. Hamilton glides easily to that ball off the bat of Turner for the out. Cowboy, what a job last night done by the Reds bullpen.
Well, these are guys that all were pitching with the game on the line, and when you come in the ball game and your team is trailing, you have to put up zeros, and the Reds bullpen was able to do that last night.
Daniel Murphy, 1 out of 3.
But you would really think, Jim, that playing a team like the Mets, that 4 runs would not be a deficit that you could not overcome.
Right.
But the Reds are just scuffling offensively right now.
Well, you mentioned it earlier. 5 runs in this series so far, covering 26 innings. 3 on Monday in 10, 2 last night, nothing today. That's on the negative side. On the bright side, they're only down 1-0. Last night I heard Tom say all this Reds team needs is a bloop and a blast to tie this game. Well, today they just need the blast, at least right now.
Bloop and a blast puts them on top.
Yeah.
But they've got to keep the Mets off the board to make that happen. Only 6 outs for the Reds left in this ball game.
Down on strikes goes Murphy on that 1-2 pitch.
Blistering fastball right on the outside corner. You get that left-hander looking for the breaking ball, and you can locate that fastball as Parra does there. Put him in the book.
Francisco Lariano pitching for the Pirates today. Interesting, and that we kind of thought he would be the guy that might throw Friday for the Pirates against the Reds, but he's throwing today against the Cubs, meaning the Reds won't see him in the series this weekend. He, like Latos, would be set up for the potential wild card playoff game. Cubs get a run on a base hit by Anthony Rizzo, and now the Cubs lead 1-0 into the 2nd inning at home against the Pirates. But the Reds fail in this one. They really need the Cubs to beat the Pirates. That way they go into the series this weekend needing 2 out of 3 to clinch the home field advantage in the wild card playoff game. Or they can win themselves today and earn that with 2 out of 3 this weekend. Well, the Reds lose this game and the Pirates win that game today, then the Reds would need to sweep the Pirates over the weekend to gain home field for the wild card game.
The proverbial back against your wall.
Doesn't get any worse than that, does it?
No.
On a 2-1, way out in front, Duda, 2-2.
control of the breaking ball has been a huge turnaround for Manny Parra.
In the air and will end this inning. Hamilton makes the play. Down in order in the 8th. Go the Mets. Up come the Reds. Down 1-0. The game. This one today, a big salute and a tip of the Reds cap to Reds fans. Today, 26,223 give the Reds a new Great American Ballpark season total of 2,371,103 on the year. That's a new Great American Ballpark record, surpassing the old mark of 2,355,000 back in 2003. So congratulations. Thank you, Reds fans, for setting a new GABP attendance record this year of over 2,371,000. Big old tip of the cap to you. Like to reward those people who come out today and all year, Cowboy, with a win right here.
No doubt.
Is Turris.
Derek Robinson.
Now Robinson steps in to bat for is Turris. Lead it off against Matsuzaka here in the bottom of the 8th.
Last time Matsuzaka pitched 8 innings was against the Durham Bulls. That would be a AAA team.
Cozart on deck to bat for Parra and the top of the order. Robinson this year 249 with 8 RBIs. 250 as a pinch hitter, 7 for 28. Trying to get on here to start the bottom of the 8th. Reds down 1-0. Been out hit 4-3. Into center and a base hit. He went down to get that ball, almost just slapped at it, Cowboy.
You saw Derek Robinson step out of the batter's box, and as much as anything else, I think this was to make sure that he kept his hands back after the first 2 pitch fastballs. He got a split finger. We've seen a lot of Reds hitters pop that ball up today, and he stays right on it. Takes it right back up the middle. A great job by Derek Robinson.
And now Cozart will bat for Parra. Second consecutive Reds pinch hitter. Tying run on. Go ahead run at the plate. Taking a look back here. The last time And Matsuzaka went 8 in a big league game. You have to go all the way back to April 23rd, 2011. Cozart showing bunt. Good bunt to first. A look by Duda. He settles for the out at first with Murphy. Cozart has done a great job with sacrifice bunts this year. Gets the job done there. Tying run at second base with 1 out. Cozart's 13th sacrifice bunt of the year ties him for second in the league. The leader, of course, is our very own Bronson Arroyo. All right, so 2 chances now to get that tying run home. First one falls on the shoulders of Hamilton.
Well, here's a situation for Hamilton where you may see him put down the bunt. It's going to be awfully hard for Justin Turner to vacate third base.
That's going to be in the air. Let's hope it gets out of play, and it will. Boy, Turner went all the way over there. Hard into that rail.
I'm not sure that Turner saw the rail until the very last second.
Mets, meanwhile, double barrel action in their bullpen. Lefty Pedro Feliciano, right-hander. The very impressive Vic Black from a night ago. Feliciano years ago was in the Reds minor league organization. Speedy Robinson out at second. Speedy Hamilton trying to get him in. 1-1. Alien infield hit his last time. 1 for 3. Mets scored in the third. There's been no other scoring in this game. Again, Matsuzaka, the last time he went 8 innings in a big league game, April the 23rd, 2011, against the Angels in Anaheim. 8 innings of no-run, 1-hit baseball. 2.5 years ago. Chu on deck, then Votto. Not inconceivable that this is it for Matsuzaka right here, with the lefty Feliciano throwing in the bullpen.
I would imagine. 103 pitches now for Matsuzaka and counting. Murphy coming in, having a quick conversation with both Matsuzaka and the catcher Sentinel.
Hamilton, who has 1 RBI, trying to make it 2 with Robinson, who leads away at second. Picked up that RBI Wednesday last week down in Houston. And he swings and misses at a 1-2 pitch. That's the second out of the inning.
Fastball up and away. And Billy chases a pitch. Obviously, he knew he probably shouldn't have gone after that one. A high pitch, high fastball up and away. Not a whole lot you can do with it.
Robinson still at second with 2 out. Terry Collins to the mound. Infield draws around him as well. The lefty Pedro Feliciano is jogging in, where the Mets have to be very pleased with what they saw today out of Daisuke Matsuzaka. Pitching change for the Mets. Our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. Major League Baseball postseason on Fox, TBS, and the MLB Network. It all begins October the 1st. Here's what we have right now going into action today and games ongoing. Cardinals now lead 3-1 over the Nationals in the 5th. Cubs hanging on to that 1-0 lead in the 3rd at home against the Pirates. And the Reds down 1-0 here in the bottom of the 8th. Tying run at second, 2 out. Chu against the lefty Feliciano. Feliciano worked in the game Monday, faced one batter, Bruce. Retired him on a line drive to center. Chu has done a much better job in the last couple of months in hitting against left-handers. In fact, he's over 200 now at 217, but has hit close to the 300 mark against lefties the last couple of months. Gets ahead 3-0. And another lefty, Votto on deck. Four-pitch walk. Chu aboard means the Reds have the tying run at second, the go-ahead run at first with 2 out for Votto.
If I didn't know better, Jim, I would think that Feliciano wanted to pitch to Votto and not to Chu. By the way, he went after Shin-Soo Choo with the base open. Hard to believe.
He gets his wish right here, doesn't he? Votto's been up there hacking today. Off the glove of the catcher, and the runners will move up. Now it won't take an extra base hit to give the Reds the lead. Little old single by Votto can give Cincinnati a 2-1 advantage on a wild pitch there by Feliciano.
Votto has not had a hit in this series, and it would be awfully big if he could do so here. Folks here at Great American Ballpark might go berserk. He is feeding Votto a steady diet of that sweeping breaking ball.
Feliciano has basically missed the last 2 years after undergoing left shoulder surgery. Missed 11, missed 12. Back to where he had his most success here with the Mets. Joey leaned out of the way. Greg Gibson gets the strike call. That's the same pitch basically that Nice was working him over on last night.
Fastball in at the top of the strike zone, but Nice was throwing it at 92. That pitch was 83 miles an hour.
Match up here. Lefty Feliciano, lefty Votto. Robinson tying run 3rd. Chu go-ahead run 2nd. And a ball in the air. Going to be handled by Lagares. Inning over. Big threat by the Reds. 2 on. But Feliciano gets the job done, sending us to the 9th. Children's Hospital, now the #1 ranked pediatric cancer center in the country, according to the U.S. News and World Report's best children's hospitals. And by Chevy. Stop into your Tri-State Chevy dealer today and check out their full line of fuel-efficient vehicles. 1-0 Reds as we head to the 9th. Reds have let a golden opportunity slip by there in the bottom of the 8th.
Best chance yet, and here's our Mazda pitch-by-pitch sequence, and it comes with Joey Votto at the plate. A wild pitch breaking ball sends runners to second and third, a chance to put the Reds ahead. A breaking ball there fouled off. Breaking ball well outside. This is a big pitch here. The fastball right on the inside corner, and back to the breaking ball. And Votto pops it up. You could see the frustration. Reds are still scoreless.
Joey 4 times today has flied out to center field. The first one was a line drive right at Lagares. The others fly balls, so he's 0 for 8 in this series. And the Reds' job here with Chapman coming on, keep it a 1-0 game and then give it their best shot in the bottom of the 9th. Chapman for the 68th time. Chapman worked an inning in the game on Monday, worked the 9th inning, struck out Brown, Lagares, and d'Arnaud. He gets Lagares here.
Well, just the presence of Chapman in a ball game where it is 1-0 and the Reds are losing tells you exactly what Dusty Baker is thinking about this ball game. It is of immense proportions.
2-1. Lagares in this game is 0 for 3. In the series, 1 out of 11. Chapman, by the way, we mentioned 68 appearances. This ties his total from a year ago. If he appears one more time this year in the Pirates series coming up this weekend, it'll be new career best for him. Innings wise, interesting enough, he's down 9 from a year ago. 3-2. Strikeouts per 9 about the same. Walks this year a little higher. Last year 2.9 per 9 innings. This year 4 per 9 innings for Aroldis Chapman. And he gets Lagares for the second time in this series. 9 strikeouts for Reds pitching today.
The big key was the 2-strike pitch. 3-1. You get that strike. Now you've got the hitter having to protect the plate, and that upper 90s 100-mile-an-hour fastball a little bit tougher to hit.
Now Josh Satin comes off the bench. Satin will pinch hit for Mike Baxter. Satin comes into the game at .280 in 71 games this year with a couple of homers. Driven in 16. 5 out of 23 as a pinch hitter. Appeared in the game last night as a pinch hitter against Alfredo Simon, grounded out. Appeared in the 10th inning and had a base hit against Manny Parra on Monday night. He gets in all 3 games off the bench.
The old backdoor breaking ball there by Aroldis Chapman. Not too many hitters come to the plate expecting that off Chapman.
The teams in the National League Central are very familiar by now with Aroldis Chapman, but these teams that they see once a year, and in this Mets situation, as you talked about earlier, it's almost a completely different roster. They're seeing something out here that they've only heard and read about.
You got that right. the myth, the legend, and now reality.
Chapman trying to keep it a 1-0 game. We look ahead to the Reds' 9th. Middle of the order. Phillips 4-hitter. Bruce 5-hitter. Frazier 6-hitter. Last night they faced Vic Black, who absolutely came in and dominated. Today it's LaTroy Hawkins in the bullpen. Hawkins saved his 100th game of his career the other day in Philadelphia.
Hawkins has been throwing the ball awfully well lately. Veteran's been around a long time.
Not inconceivable, though, is it, that come 2014 we may see Vic Black as the man coming out of that bullpen as the closer. Nice slider, strike 3. Satin back to the dugout.
Well, Satin will argue with this pitch, but as much about saving face as anything else, that baby is right on the money.
Now Anthony Recker will bat for Centeno. Recker, the righty, replaces Centeno, the lefty, as the hitter, hitting .212, 6 home runs and 19 RBIs. Hitless in 9 off the bench this year as a pinch hitter for Terry Collins' club.
Recker looks like he's taking a pitch, at least on the first 2.
Bases loaded walk issued by the Cubs' Jake Arrieta. Forced in a run. That Pirate game now tied 1-1 in the 3rd. Cardinals up 3-1, end of 5 against the Nationals. Swinging at 3-0. How about that? Little old 98-mile-an-hour fastball.
Throw it again.
Misses with it high, and a base runner for the Mets here in the 9th inning. Now Tovar will bat with a runner on and 2 out. Pitcher spot next. Andrew Brown started in right field on Monday night, is in the on-deck circle for the Mets.
Boy, who would have ever thought that the Mets would be shutting out the Reds 1-0 here?
You can put me in that group. They didn't think that. I think I could take you with me.
Wow.
To right. Inning over. So a walk and a fly ball and a 1-0 Mets lead into the bottom of the 9th. 1-0 in favor of the Mets. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Here's what's coming up this weekend. Pirates Reds here at Great American Ballpark. Friday night, Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon. 16 times they've met. They are split down the middle at 8-8. Reds have hit better in terms of average, scored more runs, hit one less homer, but better ERA. Couldn't get much closer, could it?
No doubt about it. It has been tight from game one. LaTroy Hawkins, he's been closing games lately. He's got 12 on the year, 3-2 with a 3.01, and this will be the 71st game for LaTroy Hawkins here in 2013.
Hawkins trying for his 13th save. He gets Phillips to get it started. New catcher for the Pirates is Anthony Recker. He pinch hit. Pardon me, for the Mets is Anthony Recker. New right fielder Matt Van Decker.
Troy Hawkins has 12 straight scoreless innings. And in 23 of his last 25 ball games, they've been scoreless. So Hawkins proving to be an ageless wonder.
Phillips in this game hitless in 3. In the series, 2 out of 10. Reds down by a run. Now a 2-1 count. And 3-1. To the right side, moving that way, the second baseman Murphy. Phillips is gone, 1 out. Now it's Bruce. Bruce in the game, 1 for 2 with a walk. Hitless in 5 lifetime against Hawkins.
Now this is one guy in the Reds lineup that will leave the ball up and out over the plate regardless of the count. Actually up into any part of the plate. Bruce can tie this baby up in a hurry.
Wouldn't that be some sort of sight? He's hit 30 of them this year. For Hawkins, the Mets, his 10th team. And he falls behind 2-0. Mets trying to close out their third 1-0 victory of the season. Reds twice this year have been beaten 1-0.
Like Jay had a pitch to hit there and came up empty.
A lone run in the 3rd. Frazier waits on deck. Talked a lot about Matsuzaka and his move. What about Hawkins, who doesn't appear to come at all? Now there's nobody on base now, but doesn't appear to come at all to a stop from the stretch position, Cowboy.
I think sometimes as a hitter you think that any pitcher that's out of the stretch will come to a set. Not Hawkins. Now he sets when there's runners on, but right now he keeps that fluid motion. Allows him to get that arm going quickly.
There he stopped.
And threw a slider.
Maybe he didn't have a good grip on it. Either way, Bruce will get a look at a 3-2, and there's Frazier. Reds trying to avoid being shut out for the 4th time this year at home. In the air to right. Very deep Van Decker, but he'll come on and make the catch. 2 out for Frazier. Frazier brings us our Nissan drive of the game. It occurred against the Mets last year here at Great American Ballpark against the Cy Young Award winner R.A. Dickey. That came on August the 15th. A long ball. That's what the Mets could use. Pardon me, the Reds could use right now against the Mets again from number 21.
Well, he'll be looking for that first pitch fastball out over the plate. Something he can lay some good wood to.
18 of them on the year. And a strike. Three lone hits by the Reds. And a strike. Check that, 4 with the base hit in the 8th by Robinson. They've stranded 6.
Well, just when you think Frazier's looking fastball, he gets 2 straight right down the heart of the plate, takes them both.
A smooth mid-90s by Hawkins at 40 years old, isn't it?
He's pitching on pure adrenaline right now.
Frazier just does stay alive on that pitch. As Arauco scheduled next. Xavier Paul is in the on-deck circle. Reds have scored 5 runs in this series in 27 innings. Now down to their last strike in this one, trailing 1-0. And another spoiler by Frazier.
Well, when Troy Hawkins came to the big leagues, Jim, he was all over the place with the fastball. Phenomenal arm. I mean, he threw in the mid to upper 90s with an over-the-top curveball, just like a lot of guys do. That curveball you learn when you're in high school, and it's tough to adjust when it's something that you've carried with you for so long. But he has made great adjustments as his career has gone on.
Hard hit left center field, but that's going to stay in the ballpark. It's caught out there by Young, and the New York Mets come to Cincinnati in a big 3-game series against the Redlegs, and they take 2 out of 3, putting the Reds back to the wall right now, going into the off day tomorrow and the 3-game series against the Pittsburgh Pirates coming up over the weekend. Take a look at our John Morrell hot dog. plays of the game, and all centered around the Mets starter, right-hander Daisuke Matsuzaka. 7 2/3 of no-run, 4-hit baseball, a couple of walks, 6 strikeouts. As Cowboy said, he kind of pitched backward early in this game, and it worked well for him. He caught a break on that ball, hit by Jay Bruce, hard hit. Through it all, he turned the lead over to Pedro Feliciano, returned the lead over to LaTroy Hawkins, who gets his 13th save, getting the victory for Matsuzaka to even his record at 3-3 and send Latos to only his 2nd loss at home this year. So the Reds now at 90 and 69 on the year. We'll wait for the outcome of that Pirate Cup game. Coming up here, Reds Live postgame presented by King's Honda, right around the corner.